Hello everyone and welcome back to the Colorado Rockies franchise. The Colorado Rockies are 13-16 and look pretty mid to start the season. In today's episode, we'll get through the month of May, probably go over about 2 series in the middle of this month where I play them and get ever closer to that draft, which is 73 days away. Before we get started, I wanted to talk about the roster a little bit and the potential of some of our up and coming players. So as I've mentioned before, we only have a few guys on the team with a potential. There's a total of 5 guys with a potential. 3 of them are already at the major league level, and those 3 are already over the age of 25. But potential in MLB The Show works a little differently than it just shows on the surface level. So all of these guys show as a potential, but 4 out of the 5 of them have 90 potential. So they are basically just at the high end of B if you really think about it. Nolan Jones is the only guy of these 5 with anything over a 90 in terms of potential. He has 95 potential. Doyle, Rogers, Dolander, and Amador all have 90, meaning that their true peaks are probably high 80s. And don't get me wrong, we will take high 80s because that's way better than basically everyone on the team currently, but it is a little disappointing to know that they are basically capped at a 90 overall. And the same kind of goes for some of our B potential guys. Drew Romo, for example, has B potential, but that is an 80 potential. So really B minus, C plus potential. He's probably capped at like a high 70s overall. Michael Toglia has 84 potential, and so does Hunter Goodman, so they could reach sort of mid 80s overall. Sterling Thompson was one I was really disappointed to learn only has 80 potential, so he is pretty much just Ryan McMahon 2.0, where his peak is going to be like 80 overall pretty much. And speaking of Ryan McMahon, his potential is 80, meaning that he is basically at his peak right now, which makes sense at the age of 29. So it's really prime time to trade a guy like Ryan McMahon while he's at the absolute peak of his game. Ezequiel Tovar has 86 potential, so has potential to be a mid 80s overall player, which is pretty good. Yanquiel Fernandez has 88 potential. So his B potential is actually quite a bit better than your average B potential. He has potential to hit high 80s in terms of overall. Jordan Beck also has 88 potential, and you'd be interested to learn a guy we highlighted last episode, Zach Veen. His potential is only 80. So Jordan Beck, definitely a more enticing prospect now than Zach Veen. But basically the reason that I tell you all of this is just that our team and even its potential is maybe not as good as it seems. Some of these guys I've been really excited about are a little bit less exciting with that. Like I think Chase Dolander has a little bit of an asterisk on his name now because he's a potential, but that potential is 90. So he's only really ever going to be, 88, 89, 90 overall and not go much higher. Granted, that's still very good. He's not high 90s, mid 90s, like I guess what you would want to be a World Series caliber team. With all of that out of the way, there is a trade that I kind of like, and that trade is for the Pittsburgh Pirates B potential pitcher Quinn Priester. Starting pitcher with B potential. That B potential is 86, so could reach the mid 80s in terms of overall. He's only 23, has 99 velocity, 78 stamina. He could start today for the Rockies and be in the starting rotation because that's just how bad our starting rotation is. And that trade involves giving up third baseman Ryan McMahon. Ryan McMahon is the second best player on this Colorado Rockies roster currently, but as we just discussed, he's at basically the peak of his potential. He's not going to get much better than a 79 overall because his potential is 80. And the Pirates do not need a third baseman, but they do need a second baseman, at least for probably a season or 2 while these 2 guys develop, or a first baseman, both of which are positions Ryan McMahon can play. We've discussed previously that Ryan McMahon is not a part of this team's long-term future, and while he's a good piece now, I think that Quinn Priester could be a pretty critical part of a starting rotation in just a few seasons. So as much as it kind of pains me to lose Ryan McMahon, I think now is the time to trade him when he is at really his peak overall, and I think that we are getting the better end of this deal in the long run. So welcome to the Rockies, Quinn Priester. Priester, one of the future starting pitchers of this rotation. Part of the reason I did that is because we only had Dollander with high potential in our starting rotation, or at least our future starting rotation. I wanted another guy, and I know we're probably going to go after a guy in the draft, but that means with Dollander, Priester, and whatever guy we draft, we will have our top 3 rotational guys in like 2 to 3 years. I also kind of think it's now or never to trade a guy like Kris Bryant. He's 71 overall. He's regressing slightly. He's 32 years old, definitely past his prime, not a great fielder anymore, can play in the outfield and can play first base. There's teams that need that. Is it time to find some type of trade for Kris Bryant? So here's the trade I'm gonna do for Kris Bryant. You can let me know how you feel about it. I try my best to do fairly realistic trades, so let me know what you think. If it's not realistic in your eyes, let me know, and I'm happy to do other stuff in the future. But Kris Bryant to the Twins, who don't necessarily need him at first, but they are very weak at left field, and Kris Bryant can play the outfield, and even if he doesn't play left, they can move things around and play him at right. Whatever it may be, Kris Bryant would be a benefit to this Twins team, and this Twins team, I would argue, is a playoff contending team, which is where I would want to send Kris Bryant. And then we honestly get 2 kind of crappy relievers with C potential. They could make it to, 70 overall-ish, and I think at this point in Kris Bryant's career, this is the best we're going to get for him, and he's only really going to get worse. So I think we need to make something happen sooner rather than later. So this is the trade we're going to do. Everybody wave goodbye to Kris Bryant. So that definitely leaves this roster with some holes to fill, and not really the guys to fill them, just to be honest. Sterling Thompson is going to be added to the 40-man roster and moved to the MLB to make his debut as the Rockies' new third baseman. I do think that he is potentially not the third baseman of the future anymore, with only the 80 potential, so we may look to scouting to find the new third baseman of the future. We did have Kris Bryant starting at first base, so not too big of a concern there, as we have Montero and Tolia. We're going to bring Jake Bird back to the MLB level to have him be another reliever on this team, so we have 8 relievers total now. And Louis Varland, who we just got in that trade, is going to be moved to AAA to be a reliever there. Montero is going to get to be the starting first baseman, and Sean Bouchard will get to be the DH. Obviously, this Rockies roster just got undeniably worse, but those 2 guys were not part of the long-term plans of this team, so I honestly think it's better to rip the band-aid off now, get them off the team while they still have really any value at all, and get better for the future. This honestly will also help us because it'll make the team worse this season, meaning we'll get better draft picks. So with all of that out of the way, let's finally get into the action of today's episode. We're gonna do a player lock with Sterling Thompson to do his major league debut, and then I think we'll focus on this series against the Pirates, the team that we just traded Ryan McMahon to. So let's get into this player lock game against the Marlins with Sterling Thompson in his MLB debut. Sterling Thompson was a guy I was originally very excited about when I started this series, but learning that he's only 80 potential is not exactly ideal. I mean, he could be a quality sort of mid to high 70s overall starter, but he's never going to be sort of a star level player. He'll be going up against AJ Puck. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sterling Thompson, the 0-0 game with 1 out here in the top of the second. Thompson will look at the first pitch, which is a ball. So he's just kind of getting thrown into things now with the departure of Ryan McMahon. It's time to kind of put up or shut up if you're Sterling Thompson. He'll likely be the starter for the remainder of the season unless he's just getting absolutely destroyed, in which case we might just have to look for a free agent to take his place temporarily. Not going to get the first base hit of his career here, as that is a pop out to the shortstop. Luis Montero hit a homer, and now it is 1-0 for the Rockies, and Thompson gets his second at bat on the day. Looking to reach base perhaps, but not on that one. That was way inside, and I swung at it anyway, and that is the second out of the day for Thompson. We get some action at the hot corner now as Thompson is in at third base. Not a bad fielder at the moment. Definitely there are better, and definitely Ryan McMahon was better, but it is what it is. It was time to make a trade, and Sterling Thompson is not too bad of a replacement. Let's see if he can get on base, whether it's a walk, whether it's a hit, whatever it may be. Would love to see him get on the bag. So the 3-2 pitch on its way, and a good one for Sterling Thompson, but a little bit too underneath it, as it goes to right center field, but too much air under it. It is caught, and that is another out. No base hit yet for Thompson. While the Rockies blew their lead, it is now 3-5 here in the 8th, but with 2 runners on and no one out, Sterling Thompson has a chance to be a hero here in Colorado. And that is a great sinker. That is some late movement. A pop-up for Thompson yet again, underneath one more time, and that is an out. So looking like Sterling Thompson not going to get his major league debut hit that he probably wanted. Got under a lot of those pitches, and that is the end of the game. The Marlins will take the victory over the Rockies, who now fall to 13-17. So now let's move on into the revenge series against Ryan McMahon. Sterling Thompson did get 2 hits and 2 RBIs in his second appearance, but it was also a loss to the Marlins, losing that one 10-5, which means we got swept by Miami, and now we move on to play Pittsburgh, who is 11-21, and of course have Ryan McMahon now. Colorado Rockies versus the Pittsburgh Pirates in a revenge matchup. Ryan McMahon versus his old team that traded him just a few short days ago. 2 bottom teams in the MLB right now, 13-18 from the Rockies, 11-21 from the Pirates. Ryan McMahon only starts against right-handed pitching for this Pirates team, and we are using Cal Quantrill today, a right-handed pitcher, so we will see him over there at third base. Leading us off, as always, is Charlie Blackmon, whose .327 average is currently good for 8th in the NL, so not a bad start for the regressing Charlie Blackmon, as Martine's pitch is a hanging circle change. Will Charlie beat out the pitcher? He does, just barely. Might have been a tie even, but that is a base hit for Charlie Blackmon to lead off the day. That brings us to our 2-hitter. That is Brendan Rodgers in a 2-2 count here in the top of the first. Nolan Jones is on deck, so a walk here is honestly incredibly beneficial for the Rockies. Another decent one to hit. Goes to the third baseman. It's McMahon who forces an error, and honestly, it took Charlie Blackmon so long to run that now it's like... It's just in a pickle. Dude, the delay with which Charlie ran is insane. It's an error from the former Rocky, Ryan McMahon, on the throw to second, but it's an out on Blackmon anyway, because when you hit L1 to advance the runners, it takes forever for them to start running. I mean, I pressed it the instant it went over the head of the second baseman, but it just doesn't matter. I want to take a look at the replay, but it's already too late. The Nolan Jones is up to bat. The 3-2 pitch, and that one is going to be blooped into left field. A base hit should be bases loaded. 3-1 count for Eloise Montero, who has been promoted to the 4 spot. He's one of the few guys on this roster with power, but he walks. Now it is bases loaded with 1 out here in the top of the first for the Rockies. And it's Ezequiel Tovar, who is batting 170 to start the season, really struggling. A 2-1 pitch for him is fouled away. He does have a 72 clutch rating, which is better than his vision, so that should be helping us out quite a bit here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's Perez's pitch, and that one is grounded to McMahon once again. No throwing error this time. Tovar can't beat out the throw, and no points scored despite the bases being loaded. And we go to the second. Cal Quantrill is the pitcher for the Rockies today. One of the few bright spots on this team so far this season. A 2.11 ERA and a 3-1 record so far. I'm honestly really excited to get German Marquez back, as I think that will help our starting rotation quite a bit. But for now, Cal Quantrill is the ace. Let's see what he can do. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Quantrill. And that one is grounded to the new third baseman. That is Sterling Thompson. And he gets it on to Montero, a very new look Rockies defense. And that is out number 1. Andrew McCutchen, a fan favorite here in Pittsburgh, is up to bat. 3-2 pitch coming from Quantrill, and that one is swung on and missed, as determined by the first base umpire. A strikeout for Quantrill. See you later, Andrew McCutchen. The control for Quantrill seems pretty good so far. We're just missing and they're not swinging, but the placement is pretty intentional. So a lot of pitches this AB for Cal Quantrill. That was the 8th. This one is the 9th. And that is fouled again. We're going to double digits. The 10th pitch of the at-bat for Quantrill. That is right down the middle and rocketed at Montero, who makes the play. And that is the 3rd out, 3 up, 3 down for the Pirates. So we fast forward a couple of batters, and it's Jacob Stallings in the game, giving Elias Diaz the day off. And we've got a runner on second base. That is Sterling Thompson over there on second, as Stallings looks at a ball for a 2-2 count. Now Stallings is to a full count, and he looks at ball 4. He'll take his base, and that brings up Brenton Doyle, who's batting .242 this season, one of the worst bats really in Major League Baseball, at least in terms of his overalls. But he's got 99 fielding, 99 arm. He's just one of the best fielders and just a terrible, terrible bat. And he takes ball 4. It doesn't matter if he can draw walks, I guess. That is the third walk given up by Martin Perez, as Charlie Blackmon is now up to bat. The 1-1 pitch from Perez is a sinker that is fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Charlie Blackmon. Got one to hit, and he does so, and we're not going to send the runner that's currently on third. That's Jacob Stallings. Only has 4 speed. Would have almost certainly been out, but it is an RBI for Charlie Blackmon. 1 run scored for the Rockies as Sterling Thompson finds his way home. Already up to 56 pitches for Perez, as Brendan Rodgers is going to ground into one of the easiest double plays that the Pirates will ever have, and that is the final out of the inning. But 1 run scored for the Rockies means they take the lead, and the next couple guys up to bat, one of them is named Ryan McMahon. We've got a rain delay here in Pittsburgh. It's expected to last about 45 minutes. We can leave in Quantrill, who to this point has only given up 1 hit, or warm up a fresh arm. I'm not entirely certain what I want to do here. I want to keep Quantrill, honestly. He's been pitching very well. Rain delay now over. Cal Quantrill's confidence is at an all-time high, but his energy is now below half here in the bottom of the 4th. Do have a runner on second, as O'Neal Cruz will look at a called ball. The Pirates are making contact. They just can't hit it into play, and that's fouled again. It's like the 4th foul ball in a row from Quantrill, and that one is fouled again. Cruz is swinging at everything, but he's making contact every time. Finally, he lays off, but it's a ball. So the 3-2 pitch from Quantrill, and he loses the batter. Cruz battling, and then draws a walk. So runners on first and second for Ryan McMahon. He struck out in the 2nd. Now we're into the 4th. It's a 2-1 pitch from Quantrill, and Tovar will make the play, but no double play happening here, and not even getting the play at first is Tovar. McMahon with his 30 speed was fast enough, and now the bases are loaded with only 1 out. And now it's Jack Sawinski down on strikes, and that is 2 gone for Quantrill. 2 balls, 1 strike to Yasmani Grandal. The 2-1 pitch is down the line. Thompson's not getting there. They are going to test Nolan Jones' arm. It doesn't matter. He's safe before the ball is even out of his hands. And the Pittsburgh Pirates have taken the lead. 2-1 here in Pittsburgh, as Yasmani Grandal gets one down the third base line, and Sterling Thompson not fast enough to make the play. It's unfortunate. Cal Quantrill was on fire before the rain delay and now struggling. 2 on with 2 outs here in the 4th. Rowdy Tellez will ground this one up the middle. It's Brenton Doyle in center, and they are sending McMahon. Can his former teammate throw him out at home? It's close, but he's safe. Brenton Doyle did not come up ready to throw, it seems. Kind of took a second. He's got one of the best arms in the majors, but didn't come up ready to throw for some reason, and that allows a run against the Rockies. Nick Gonzalez, the 9-hitter at the plate, still 2 gone, and he strikes him out. Stallings just has to throw on to first, and he does. That is the end of the 4th inning, which a bit disastrous for the Rockies. Could have been worse, but it is now 3-1 for the Pirates, despite having 3 less hits. So now in the top of the 5th, it's Sterling Thompson up to bat again. He's got 2 runners on and only 1 out. This is popped to center, though. That'll be out number 2. Just need somebody to get a base hit that goes far enough to score some runs. Is that somebody? Jacob Stallings, as he swings through the slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Stallings will get another chance, and he pops it straight up behind home plate. The catcher is underneath it, and that is the 3rd out of the inning. So we fast forward to the later stages of this game. It's now the top of the 7th. The Pirates added a couple more runs. It's now 1-5. And Nolan Jones, despite getting one that he should have crushed and timing it well, pops it way up to first, and that is out number 1. The Rockies offense, to really no one's surprise, struggling even more with the loss of 2 of its better bats, as that is a line out, I guess you would call that, kind of a soft line out to the shortstop. 2 outs, Ezekiel Tovar, his struggles continue. 0 for 3 so far today, and that one, though, gets down for a hit to right field. And Ezekiel Tovar now on base. Here's Sean Bouchard, who has taken over the DH responsibilities. The 1-2 pitch for him is way outside. The next pitch, right down the middle, a perfect for Bouchard. And he will get this one over the fence. It's gone. A home run for Sean Bouchard. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Indeed, 112 exit velocity, 424 distance, a 2-run homer for Bouchard means that it is now 5-3, and the Rockies may actually stand a chance still in this one. Sterling Thompson now up to bat after that home run. Has yet to hit his own first home run. Doesn't quite have insane power, to be honest, so I'd be surprised to see it here. The 2-1 pitch from Contreras is right down the middle, and Sterling will get this one into right field, and it's kind of a 2-out rally here going for the Rockies as Sterling Thompson gets a base hit of his own. Jacob Stallings now up to bat. 1 on 2 outs. Can he get some more offense going for the Rockies? 2 balls and 2 strikes. A home run would tie the game. Got a good one to hit. It's to left center field, and it's going to get down, and it's going to get past the left fielder, and that is going to score a run. The Rockies now 4-5 have found 3 runs here in the inning. Jacob Stallings with an RBI double, and that brings a man around to score, and Stallings doing pretty well in replacement of Elias Diaz today. Colin Holderman is now in the game as they sat down Contreras. We're now to the bottom of the order. It is Brenton Doyle. A base hit could score Stallings, but Stallings only has 4 speed, so it would need to be a gapper for sure. 2 balls, 1 strike for Doyle. Got one to hit, but grounded it softly to second on a 1-hop, and that is the end of the inning. But the Rockies close the gap, and now it is 4-5 here in Pittsburgh. Lucas Gilbreth, the pitcher now, as he'll face off against Cabrian Hayes to start the inning, and that is a called ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch from Gilbreth is swung on and slowly grounded to Brendan Rodgers, who makes the play onto Montero, and that is out number 1. Andrew McCutchen 0 for 2 on the day. Still 4-5 here in Pittsburgh. That is a hanging slider from Gilbreth, but not punished. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Another pitch from Gilbreth is a slider. Popped up into Nolan Jones' territory there in left field. He'll get under that, and that is out number 2. 1-2 pitch from Lucas. Looking for the top right corner, and it's swung on and missed by Brian Reynolds. 1-2-3 inning for Lucas Gilbreth. Can the Rockies tie this game? Or even better, can they take the lead? We'll start at the top of the order for the Rockies. The one hitter, it's Charlie Blackmon. A solo shot would tie this game up. Will he get the opportunity to do so? No, but he will ground it back up the middle for a base hit. And Charlie Blackmon will lead us off with a single. Charlie Blackmon been one of the best hitters in the MLB to start this season, and definitely the best hitter on this team, as now we'll look at Brendan Rodgers. Very late swing, fouls it off. The 2-2 pitch. Rodgers looks at a really good sweeper that came back into the zone, and that is a strikeout. And now Aroldis Chapman into the game. Normally their closer, but here to face off against Nolan Jones, who crushes this one to right field, nearly out of the entire park. 1 pitch from Chapman, who they just brought in, throws a heater, and Nolan Jones gives it right back. 113 MPH off the bat, and the Rockies have taken a 6-5 lead here in Pittsburgh off the bat of the superstar Nolan Jones. Take a look at this one again. I mean, absolutely crushed a 100-mile-per-hour pitch from Chapman. Brought in the lefty for the lefty-lefty matchup. Nolan Jones says, I don't really care. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Eleris Montero. Finds himself with a lead. Might crush one of his own, maybe. Who knows? Instead, he dribbles it to Ryan McMahon at third. Throws him out at first, and that's 2 gone here in the 8th. Ezekiel Tovar, who has a hit of his own today, is now up with 2 gone in the inning against Aroldis Chapman. That is a splitter low again. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Tovar. Way late on the swing. I didn't want to swing, and then it fell into the zone. I felt like I needed to swing, but it was way too late. But it doesn't matter because Nolan Jones on a 2-run shot gives the Rockies a lead 6-5 here late in the game against the Pirates. And so we'll bring in our setup man. That's Daniel Bard. Has not gotten to play a lot so far this season. In fact, I don't know if he's played at all to this point this season. It looks like they're showing his 2023 stats, which makes me think he's not getting any chances in the simulation. But he is our setup man, and then Justin Lawrence is the closer. So we'll see if we can get to the closer here. I have to face O'Neal Cruz first. 2-1 pitch is a strike on the sinker from Bard. Full count. Bard way inside, but swung on. And Charlie Blackmon will get underneath. This one should be the first out of the inning, and it is. O'Neal Cruz goes out to a pop-up. So now it's the former Rocky Ryan McMahon trying to play spoiler against his former team. He's not getting a good pitch to hit, but he does have to swing it. Basically, all of these. Finally does get a good pitch to hit, and it goes into the gap. Brenton Doyle chasing this one down. Runs into the wall, and now throwing towards third. And it's not very accurate, but it gets there in time. And Ryan McMahon, not exactly the fastest, but does get into second with a 1-out double here for the Pirates. Just kept fouling the sinker, so we gave him something off speed, and he was able to double it. Maybe we just stick with the sinker, as it's one of Bard's better pitches. This one is popped way up. Nolan Jones going to be able to get underneath it pretty easily. Throws it into the cutoff man, and McMahon cannot advance. Yasmani Grandal is 2 for 3 and is a big part of why the Rockies were playing from behind. Now it's a 3-1 count to him as Bard will go to a slider, left it way up. I mean, I'm swinging at that every single day of the week, but Grandal does not, and so now it is a full count. Bard will try a sinker, and that is a walk. Michael A. Taylor is pinch running. Now it's Rowdy Tellez. Can Bard get out of this one? Fouled off by Rowdy. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tellez, and he's got this one deep to right. It's actually going to stay fair and be an automatic double to score a run. And Daniel Bard has given up the tying run, and now Justin Lawrence no longer with a save opportunity. Stays just fair and goes over the wall, which honestly is kind of a relief because they were probably scoring another one without that. So we're going to bring Justin Lawrence in and out early. No longer a save situation unless the Rockies can score in the bottom half of this inning. But Daniel Bard was struggling big time. Got the first 2 outs very easily, but then has struggled since. Justin Lawrence will try to get the final out of the inning, but getting no calls from this ump. The full count pitch. Swung on and dribbled to Tovar. A good throw gets us out of the inning. Barely in time, but still a tie game. Can the Rockies get 1 run to set up Justin Lawrence? Sean Bouchard will lead us off. It's not exactly the best part of this lineup to be at the plate. Aroldis Chapman's pitch is swung on and missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Mr. Bouchard. Aroldis Chapman's pitch is right down the middle. It's a very slow roller, and it gets through into center field, and a base runner for the Rockies to start the inning. So now we move on to Sterling Thompson. He'll get a pitch from Chapman, sends this one deep to right field, and he's out. And I thought that was getting down for sure. So luckily I got the runner back to first in time, but could have been a double play. 2 balls, 1 strike to Jacob Stallings, and that is high. The 3-1 pitch from Chapman to Stallings is dribbled to the right side, and that is a double play. I don't know why I said the right side. That is obviously the left side. Dribble to Ryan McMahon, and that is an out number 3 for the Pirates. So we've still got Justin Lawrence in the game. Obviously not a save situation now. Trying to prevent a walk-off at this point. Trying to force extra innings, at which point he will probably be relieved of his duties. Obviously not a lot of save situations for a team as bad as the Rockies. That sinker is way inside. Now we go to the full count, and that is a walk. Lawrence seemingly having troubles placing these pitches. 1-2 pitch to McCutchen is fouled. It also just seems that the CPU makes contact with literally everything. This is popped up to Brenton Doyle in center. And that is an easy out number 1. Ryan Reynolds now at the plate, and Lawrence gets a good sinker there on the left side of the plate. 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and that is out number 2. It's Brian Reynolds down on strikes. Now we just got to get past O'Neal Cruz, and we're into extra innings. And we won't get past O'Neal Cruz, as that one finds its way into left field past Sterling Thompson again. Nolan Jones throws it into third, and it's runners on first and second for Ryan McMahon, who kind of played spoiler for us last inning. So can Justin Lawrence get past McMahon? That's a good pitch. Can he get out of the inning? Lawrence, grounder to Tovar, throws onto first. And that is the third out of the inning, and we head to extras here in Pittsburgh. So we move on to the 10th, and we bring in Michael Toglia to pinch run for Jacob Stallings, who was the man on second. Toglia has high 60s speed. Stallings had 4 speed, so I'd much rather have that speed on second. And as Brenton Doyle, the 2-1 pitch, grounds this one to short, and that should be pretty easy play for O'Neal Cruz, and it is. So here comes Charlie Blackmon. He has had 3 hits on the day. Now would be a great time for another one, but he strikes out on the sweeping curve that leaves the zone. And now it is up to Brendan Rodgers. 2 outs, 2-1 count for Brendan Rodgers against Ryan Borucki. Borucki's pitch on its way, and that one is outside and low. Full count, and on deck is Nolan Jones, the man who got us to 6 runs to begin with. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Brendan Rodgers looks at ball 4, which is actually ball 6, heads to first, and here comes Nolan Jones. Can Nolan Jones be a hero for the Rockies for the second time today? Here's the pitch. That is a good slider that is looked at. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nolan Jones at the plate. Swings and misses on the sweeping curve. The Pirates will have a chance to walk it off. So Elias Diaz, who was supposed to get the day off, has to come in because Toglia can't play catcher. Jalen Beeks is your pitcher. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and strikes out. Jack Sawinski. By the way, it is McMahon at second base, so not exactly a speed threat over there, although obviously pretty much anything that gets to the outfield is going to score him, although we do have good arms in left and in center, as that is swung on and missed by Henry Davis. So now we just need 1 more out to get another opportunity, as that is low. The 2-2 pitch from Beeks is swung on and missed, and the Rockies will get another chance to take the lead in the 11th. Pretty much any base hit will score the man at second. That man is Nolan Jones, one of the fastest guys on this roster, and that is hit to left field, and not even a running opportunity for Nolan Jones, so not really a productive out either. Ezequiel Tovar, with a chance to be a hero, has struggled all season. Can he come up big this time? Pops it to center. This one might actually be deep enough to advance Nolan Jones. We're going to try it, as it looks like that will actually pay off, and it does. So a runner 90 feet from home. A productive out for Ezequiel Tovar gives Sean Bouchard the opportunity to give the Rockies the lead with a base hit, but instead it is a 1-hopper to short and another out. At this point, we've used almost the entire bullpen. Here comes John Curtis, who has a 0 ERA so far this season. It's Rowdy Tellez on second, only has 4 speed, and they didn't pinch run for him. I don't think it's going to matter. This should walk it off for the Pirates. Even with Tellez's 4 speed, it's plenty in this situation. And that is game over. The Pirates walk it off in the 11th, and the Rockies lose a heartbreaker. We walked it off in the last game, so I guess it's only fair that we get walked off on in this one. First run given up by Curtis this season. I'm not entirely sure how that sort of extra innings rule works. Is he responsible for that runner that scored? Does that count as an earned run against him? Either way, though, it is an L on the books for the Rockies. Interestingly, Jalen Beeks, who had basically a perfect inning in the 10th, gets credited with the loss, which is hilarious. He struck out all 3 of the batters he faced. Also, that does not count as an earned run for John Curtis, so his 0 ERA is still safe. The Rockies now down to 13-19, and Ryan McMahon wins the revenge matchup. For these next couple games in the series against the Pirates, we'll do like quick managing and jump in sort of late in the game if there's some cool stuff going on. So let's get into these matchups. Still against the Pirates, Peter Lambert, who is now up to a 6.52 ERA, will get the start. There is potential for him to lose his starting job, but I want to see him probably a couple more times, and there's a few guys we probably probably need to give a day off to. So here we go. How will this game work out? Well, it starts off with a Charlie Blackmon single and then Ezequiel Tovar grounding into a double play, but then a solo homer for Brendan Rodgers, who is batting third in the lineup today with Nolan Jones out. Peter Lambert in the first gives up a double to McCutchen, a ground out to McMahon. An error reaches Reynolds to first, and now a double scores 2 runs. I'm a little upset with whoever had that error. I hope it's not one of the guys that got to play today. Like if that was like Tolia or something, I'm going to be a little irritated. As another double scores another run, another double scores another run, a walk, and then finally a pop-up with 4 runs given up by Peter Lambert. Fly out for Diaz, a single for Tolia, a line out for Thompson, a double for Sean Bouchard, who's actually been playing really well since bringing him up from the minors. A run scored for the Rockies makes it 2-4. Now Jake Cave will ground out to end the inning. Sterling Thompson doubles, and now it's him and Diaz on second and on third. And that brings up Sean Bouchard, who pops out, and now Jake Cave grounds out, no runs for the Rockies. Peter Lambert gives up a solo home run to Sawinski in the bottom of the 6th, and I think that's where we make a pitching change. Let's bring in Jake Bird. Runners on first and second with 2 gone in the inning. The Pirates just made a pitching change. They brought in Jose Hernandez. It's Tovar and Blackmon, and a fielder's choice ends the inning. Eloise Montero just tripled with his 40 speed against Aroldis Chapman. And now it's Elias Diaz. He'll strike out to Tolia, and a flyout ends a promising start to the inning. David Bednar is the pitcher, and Sean Bouchard will lead us off to start the top of the 9th. And let's see if the Rockies can get a rally going and win one of these games here against the Pirates. The count is 0-1 to Bouchard, who dribbles this one to third. And who else but Ryan McMahon to throw him out at first. 1 gone for the Rockies, and here is Jake Cave. 0 for 3 today. 1-1 pitch. Cave gets one to hit and grounds it into left field. And we've got our runner on first. To the top of the lineup we go. So now it is Charlie Blackmon, who has been red hot. 2 for 3 today. A chance to be a hero. And fouls this one very hard. 0-1 pitch to Blackmon. That's a really good curveball. Now Charlie is down 0-2 against Bednar. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Charlie Blackmon looks at what is called ball 4. And now this is the tying run. Ezequiel Tovar, a home run, would tie this game up. No balls, 1 strike to Tovar. Pops this one a mile into the air. It did go pretty far back, but in front of the warning track is the left fielder. And that is out number 2. Brendan Rodgers homered earlier in the game. Could he homer again here to tie the game up? First pitch of the at-bat was a good one to hit, and he does ground it into left field, but no runners are going to score. I'm definitely not sending Jake Cave there on third. So it's bases loaded and 2 outs. And we're going to have Nolan Jones come in to pinch hit. He can also play first base, so he'll finish the game at first in the bottom part of the inning. But we need a hero, and now a home run would take the lead. Nolan Jones looks at ball 1. Bases loaded, 2 out. 1 ball, no strikes. Nolan Jones, ooh, early on the swing. Could have absolutely crushed that one. 1-1 pitch. Nolan Jones, a slow grounder to first, ends the day for the Rockies. Really unfortunate way to finish. I thought by bringing in Nolan Jones, we'd get at least a base hit that could keep the rally going, but wasn't meant to be. And it's another L for the Rockies. That is, what, 4 or 5 in a row now? I think 5th in a row loss for the Colorado Rockies. Makes sense. We just traded away 2 of our better bats, and one of them has beat us twice in a row. So I've been doing some more scouting, and Jose Zavala seems to just get better and better. The interesting thing is that he has super high potential, but his future attributes are nothing special. 55 to 83, 48 to 76. A lot of just like middle of the pack stuff other than his stamina, his arm strength, and his arm accuracy. So it makes me less interested in him. Plus the potential is still not narrowed down nearly enough. 70 to 98 is a huge swing. One of the guys we have have a little bit more narrowed in terms of potential is Harmon Hoffman, who at worst has 82 potential. Looks like he's going to be a power bat specifically against the lefties over at first base, which is kind of exactly what you want a first baseman to be, is a power hitter. I'm actually very interested in Harmon Hoffman. He is draft rank 78 in the MLB. Is there a chance he falls to 80 for us? Ryan Rossi is a guy we could consider taking later. He doesn't look too bad, but he's probably going to be C potential. PJ Pryor is the guy at the top of our draft board currently, but we have very little known about him. Don Sable is a guy I'm pretty interested in, 76 to 95 potential, could be a third baseman of the future, and now that I'm not super sold on Sterling Thompson anymore, that is something I'm definitely looking at. He actually looks to be very fast. He's not much of a power hitter, but looks to be a really good contact hitter with good speed and good stealing, and not a bad fielder, not the best, but not bad. 5'8" is absolutely tiny for third base though. John Chirac is more and more interesting the more and more we scout him. 85 to 98 potential, 70% scouted, 82 to 95 stamina, good hits per 9. Strikeouts per 9 isn't great. Walks per 9 is kind of mediocre. Home runs per 9 is pretty mediocre to above average. His pitch break is low. His pitch velo isn't high. So he's an innings eater pitcher, it looks like. He looks like he could come in. He's not going to throw super hard. He's not going to have the ball spin a bunch. He is just like comes in, throws you a ton of innings and leaves. But if he has 85 to 98 potential and falls to pick 37, which based off his MLB draft rank, it looks like he should, I would very happily take John. I think we need to get more scouting done on this guy, Howard Oliveros. His walks per 9 is 75 to 99. I think this is a guy that is potentially worth that third overall pick. I just need to know more about him. He's Australian, so we need to do some international scouting. So we're here in the final game of this series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Rockies are up 3-1 in the 8th inning. John Curtis is in the game. Ryan Feltner was the starter, only gave up the 1 run. And now we're here in the 8th. He gave up this double, so he is responsible for McCutchen at second. Let's see if Curtis can get out of it. And if the Rockies could potentially get a win, there's a single for Reynolds, a pickoff on Reynolds. You never see those. Good thing, because O'Neill Cruz's solo home run would have taken the lead, but instead it only ties the game. So here is Jake Cave. The first pitch of the at-bat is low. The Rockies looking to get at least 1 win in this series against the Pirates, a series that the Pirates have already won since they won the first 2 games. Looking to just go down 2-1 instead of 3-0, as Jake Cave will foul off another sinker. We faced this Ryan Borucki guy in the first game as well, and that is a sweeping curve that'll be blooped into center. It was way outside, but Jake Cave got a piece of it, and now we've got a runner on first. We've got a lot of backups playing today, as here's Michael Toglia again. Alan Trejo also in the game. A lot of guys are tired on this Rockies team. With the trading of Chris Bryant, that does open up a lot more opportunities for this man, Michael Toglia. Let's see if he can make good use of them. No, he cannot. He'll ground to O'Neill Cruz in one of the easiest double plays that the Pirates have ever turned. So here it is. Brenton Doyle got the day off in game number 2, back for game number 3. Now look at ball number 1. 3-0 pitch. Doyle looks at ball number 4, called ball number 4, probably should have been a strike. And now Doyle on first. Doyle, as we know, is a speedster. And I'm going to look for him to steal here as Tovar swings and misses. Doyle not even close. How is his jump that bad? Is his steal rating really low? Doyle 95 speed, not close. His jump did not happen until the ball was at the catcher's mitt. So now we're at the bottom of the 9th, and the Pirates with an opportunity to walk it off. 0-2 pitch is popped way up, and there is Alan Trejo playing at third for Sterling Thompson, who was tired today. And that's out number 1. Howdy Tellez now at the plate. Looks at strike 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes for Rowdy. And he swings at that one for some reason. And that's out number 2. John Curtis has looked exceptional so far this season. Obviously, it's still early on, but I still think he has a 0 ERA. Michael A. Taylor at the plate. Can Curtis get out of the inning? That is a perfect slider. Game telling me that Curtis is getting tired, and he does allow a base hit here. I'm still leaving Curtis in. I believe that he can get out of this, as I completely forgot that stealing is a thing. 1 ball and no strikes. This is a grounder to Ezekiel Tovar, and we're out of the inning, and we head to extras for the second time this series. Ezekiel Tovar, the man who just made the play, leading us off, and it's Brenton Doyle at second. So a base hit will score him because he has 95 speed, but Ezekiel Tovar not really capable of base hits, batting under 200 still. Do we consider sending Ezekiel Tovar down to AAA, or does he stay up here at the MLB level? I mean, he continues to just struggle, like really badly. And I don't think we can justify sending Brenton Doyle on that pop-up. And actually, we probably should have, because the throw was not accurate. Brendan Rodgers, who has homered twice in this series, is up to the plate. A home run would be phenomenal here. The 0-0 pitch is grounded up the middle, and we're going to send Doyle home, and the Rockies are going to take a lead 4-3 here in the 10th, and we will finally get a save opportunity for Justin Lawrence. Brendan Rodgers has played really well this series. I've been impressed. Can Nolan Jones make the lead even bigger for the Rockies? Here's the pitch, and it was a good one to hit, but hits it right to Rowdy Tellez at first. And Jones is out, but the Brendan Rodgers single gives the Rockies the lead 4-3. So Justin Lawrence will come in and get a save opportunity. Has a 10.0 ERA so far this season. Hasn't been good, but we'll see if he can get it done here. So it's Gonzalez on second, who does have relatively decent speed. So a base hit would pretty much score him, though we do have some really good arms in the outfield. And that's going to be the base hit I was worried about. In fact, this is going to be a double for McCutchen, and it's a blown save for Justin Lawrence. Maybe we make Curtis the closer, considering have now brought in Lawrence in two clutch situations, and he's blown both of them. Ryan McMahon with an opportunity to be a hero here for the Pirates, and it looks like he's going to do just that. Brenton Doyle going to try to throw out McCutchen at home. He's safe, and the Pirates, for the second time this series, will walk it off. What a heartbreaker for the Colorado Rockies, as they are walked off in extra innings twice in this series. Brenton Doyle has an amazing arm, and it was accurate and it was in there quickly, but it wasn't in there quick enough. If it was anyone slower than McCutchen, it probably would have been an out. Instead, it's a blown save for Justin Lawrence. Now has an insane ERA, I'm sure, and maybe does not deserve to be the closing pitcher here in Denver anymore. So the Rockies are now 13-21, and the Pirates 14-21. The Rockies have lost 5 straight since trading away Chris Bryant and Ryan McMahon, and have lost 7 straight in total. So let's get through the month of May now. The Rockies lose their 8th straight game, and the Reds are offering us a trade. And at this point, I've decided that Charlie Blackmon is not being traded away, so we're going to decline this trade despite the fact that I kind of like it. Finally, the Rockies get a win against the Giants, 8-5. Kyle Freeland gets a victory. Kyle Freeland off to a slow start at the very beginning of the year, but has been pretty good in his last few starts. And the Rockies take the series against the Giants. Now 15-22, Jake Bird getting a victory there. And now we move on to the Texas Rangers. We win 1-0 in a pitcher's duel. And now Jalen Beeks in one hell of a situation. But we're going to simulate to the end. And the Rockies beat the Rangers. So the Rockies have now won 4 straight after losing 8 straight, and have won the series against the Rangers. The Rockies do lose the final match against the Rangers, so they do win the series against the Giants and against the Rangers, but only the 4-game win streak. Now it's against the Padres, losses in the first 2 games, and a win in the 3rd. The Guardians want Brendan Rodgers, and they want to send us David Fry. But why would we accept this trade? 72 overall David Fry with B potential for 72 overall Brendan Rodgers, who is a year younger with A potential. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would I accept this trade? We play the Giants once again, a victory in the first game. Justin Lawrence in a save situation, which I fully expect him to blow at this point, but he doesn't actually. Gets out of it, and German Marquez is eligible to be reinstated, but will still be injured for about 1 to 2 weeks. So if we activate him, we'd have to free up a roster spot for him to sit on the team. But if we keep him on the 60-day IL, does he stay there for an additional 60 days? I kind of want to activate him. He is now on the Rockies bench. Senzatella is ready to be reinstated as well, but he is out for the remainder of this season. So we're definitely keeping him on the 60-day DL. So what we're going to do is move Marquez goes to the 15-day injured list, so he's still going to be out for about 2 more weeks, and then he should be back in the next episode. The Rockies beat the Giants again in a series, but do lose the final game, but we continue to win series fairly regularly. We're now 20-26. Aaron Shunk sustained an injury today. He has a torn calf. He'll be out 1 to 2 months. I guess he's going on the 60-day. The Rockies beat the Athletics 6-5. The Rockies win the series against the Athletics by taking the first 2 games and take all 3. They sweep the Athletics. So now they're 23-26. The Rockies are like as mid as it gets in this franchise while being absolutely horrendous in real life. They lose game 1 against the Phillies and game 2 against the Phillies. So I've been doing some scouting on like specific players now, and Reggie Schroth was one. Jose Zavala was another, and he's now moved up to 3rd on our draft rank. 75 to 96 potential. He's 18, straight out of high school from Pennsylvania. Looks to have high stamina and then kind of mid to above average everything else. I'm not overly hyped about him, but I am really excited about that potential because previously it was like 60 to 98 and now it's 75 to 96. The 3rd game against the Phillies is a win for John Curtis, who did finally give up his first runs, but still has a 1.08 ERA. The Guardians take the first 2 games, and then Elias Diaz sprained his ACL, and it appears he will be out for 1 to 2 weeks. Do we bring up Drew Romo? Drew Romo is batting .301 at AAA Albuquerque. I think that the only thing that makes sense is to bring up Drew Romo. So in the next episode, Drew Romo, he won't be batting 4th, but he will be making his MLB debut. So with that out of the way, I would have simulated the Dodgers game to get us all the way into June, but with Drew Romo set to make his debut in this Dodgers game, I want to play it personally, and I think that should start the next episode. Here is how everyone is doing so far. Nolan Jones is batting .308 with 7 home runs. Brendan Rodgers .246 with 10. Montero has been doing okay. Tovar is up over 200 now, so it is improving. Brenton Doyle down to a .229. Charlie on a cold spell right now, but still at .314. Diaz batting at .288, just entered the IL. Sean Bouchard has been a pleasant surprise ever since being brought up. Alan Trejo has been really bad as the backup second baseman. Might be time to consider a change there. Michael Toglia has also been miserable. 39 at bats, he only has 3 hits, a 0.77. Sterling Thompson has been really pretty good since taking over the starting job as the 3rd baseman, batting .307, 27 hits, 2 home runs. Can't complain. Sterling Thompson, he's improving still, arguably at a higher rate than before. I'm pleasantly surprised with Sterling. Jake Cave is cold right now. .231 isn't terrible as a backup, and Jacob Stallings has been decent coming off the bench as well. We'll see how Drew Romo does in the next episode. At AAA, a lot of guys are really cold. So like Warming Bernabel is cold. Amador is cold. I wonder if we considered sending him down, although he is improving at everything other than steals and base running aggressiveness. Zach Veen has been fine, but his contact against lefties and his discipline are going down, which is interesting. So is his speed. He's improving much slower than like Amador, who has been kind of struggling more than him, which is a bit weird to see. Aaron Shunk was actually doing pretty well before going on to the injured list. Jamison Hanna has been bad. Hunter Goodman batting .300 is decent. And then Connor Kaiser, Benny Montgomery have been bad. Nico Decolati has been bad. Jimmy Herron, really bad. Sam Hilliard's been pretty good, batting a .302. Coco Montez just got brought up, so he only has a few at-bats, so take this with a grain of salt. And then it's kind of more of the same at AAA for everyone not named Jordan Beck, who's kind of on fire right now, but his contact and power against lefties is going down. I think a lot of that has to do with that they just don't face a lot of lefties. Is that why that it's going down? Like -3 on the contact versus lefties is kind of concerning, but he's doing quite well at AA, so we'll leave him down there for now. Nobody batting over .300 though, except for AJ Lewis, who just got brought up to AA from A. Some of our pitchers are cold, but no one's been really like horrendously atrocious other than Daniel Bard, who's only pitched 4 innings, so a super small sample size for him. Justin Lawrence, who is supposed to be our closer, has been honestly really bad. He has more walks than he does strikeouts. Jake Bird only 11.1 innings pitched, but does have an under 1 ERA. And then none of our starters starters outside of like Dakota Hudson have been particularly bad. 5.19 is pretty bad. 4.73 is bad. Like 4.1 is bad, but like these are respectable sort of MLB average to slightly below average numbers. The only guys who have like truly been terrible are Daniel Bard, and like we said, he only has 4 innings pitched, and then Justin Lawrence has been really bad as a reliever. Lucas Gilbreth has actually pitched 6.2 innings and has yet to give up a run. Joe Rock has been a very pleasant surprise. We brought him up. He was not very good. He's up to a 64 overall now, and like everything's going up. His stamina dropped a little bit, probably because he's playing a reliever instead of a starter, but a 3.13 ERA coming out of the bullpen is quite good, and I'm pretty happy with that. Peter Lambert up to a 4.1 has been fine as a starter. I think we could potentially swap him and Rock. Rock has better stamina and is a lefty, but then that leaves us without another lefty in the bullpen. And to finish off the episode, let's take a look at every division so far. The NL East is led by the Phillies, who are 35 and 22. Braves, Mets, Marlins, and Nats all follow them. The National League Central has the Reds at the bottom at 20 and 37, and the Brewers are leading at 34 and 22. In the West, the Dodgers are 36 and 22. We're 10.5 games back at 24 and 31, but the Diamondbacks are still the bottom of the division currently. The American League, the Orioles are 35 and 20. The Twins are 33 and 23, the team we just traded Chris Bryant to, and the Rangers are 32 and 24, leading the American League West. The worst team in baseball right now, it looks like, is the White Sox, based on what I can gather. Yeah, they are the only team in the MLB without 20 wins on the season so far. They're 16 games back of the first place Twins in the Central. But anyway, that is going to do it for this episode. I thank you guys so much for watching. I think I've kind of found a format that I like, where we kind of focus on one series and team debuts and whatever it may be. But I'm really enjoying the series. This is a lot of fun for me right now. So hopefully you guys are enjoying, and I hope to start releasing this much more frequently. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next episode, where we'll face off against the Dodgers. We'll see the debut of Drew Romo and the return of German Marquez.